Buenos dias, good morning. Although I can express myself in Portuñol because I'm Portuguese, okay, they told me that they prefer if I speak in English, okay? Well, as it was announced, my name is Pedro Dias. I'm from Portugal. I'm an Olympic judoka 20 kilos ago, okay? So I don't know if you're aware of the judo rules. So every time that we start with a fight, to show respect for our opponent, we bow, okay? So now I'm gonna challenge you, okay? Let's do the judo bow, okay? So to stand up, everybody to stand up, okay? Everybody. So the judo bow, it's very simple, okay? So you put your feet like this, straight like this, and when I say the word rei, rei, it means in Japanese, bow. We are going to bow a little bit, and then we get back, okay? Are you ready? Okay. Hey! Okay, now we are ready to start this fight. Well, as I told you, I've been in the Olympic Games and the pressure was a lot, but nothing compared with the pressure that I'm feeling right now, okay? So it was extremely difficult to convince my leadership to be here, but thanks to the president and to Damaris, they managed to convince them to be here. So hopefully, I will do a presentation that you will like, okay? Otherwise, I think I will not be able to travel anymore. So let's see how it goes. Okay, I have here to change the slides. Before I start, let's talk a little bit. Most of you are thinking right now, why do we have a guy talking about gender equality? Well, the answer is really simple, because gender equality is not a woman's issue. Gender equality is everybody's issue, okay? So this is a basic human right. So until 2018, well, let's go back a little bit further. When I finished the Olympic Games, my participation in the Olympic Games in 2008, I was extremely emotional at the time. I practiced for that event for 12 years, and now it was a new phase of my life. So I knew that I wanted to give youngsters the same opportunity that I had. So I wanted to change the world through sport, but I had no idea how to do it. So during many years I was depressed because I couldn't fulfill my objective. In 2018, the IOC, they developed a leadership program, okay? But it was only called leadership program. So I go to this program, it was in Lithuania, and when I got there, they start talking about gender equality. And I'm like, why are they talking about gender equality? This was a leadership program. The guy next to me from Croatia, he stands up and he was like, I hate gender equality. I'm leaving this room. So he left the room. But I stayed. And I stayed and I listened and I started to understand that gender equality was still an issue. And it was a big issue. And this was affecting women and girls all over the world. And at that moment I said, okay, this is my objective, this is my purpose. I will try to make this world a better world through sport, working with gender equality. So a couple of years later, the IOC committed a huge mistake of hiring me, and today I'm here with you to make this presentation. So let's see if, okay. Well, Pierre de Coubertin, he had exactly the same objective. So to build a better world through sport. But what does it mean, a better world through sport? They told I need to press hard, but this is really hard. A better world through sport, it means a safer world, a more inclusive world, and a more sustainable world, okay? That is why the IOC has been working with the SDGs. Now it was too strong. So with the Olympic Agenda 2020 +5, we have developed the gender equality strategy. So this framework that you can see here, it's the framework that we have been working for the last 4 years, okay? So it's a very simple framework that can be used and adopted by any sport organization in the world, regardless the size, regardless the sport, okay? So first we divide by spheres. So the IOC as an organization, the IOC as leader of the Olympic Games, owner of the Olympic Games, and the IOC as leader of the Olympic movement. So we have the three spheres. Of course, the first one we have full control because it's our organization, but further on we will start losing control. So for example, when we go here, the IOC as leader of the Olympic movement. That is why it's so important, and I will repeat this word all over my presentation, to work together, okay? Only together we will achieve our objectives. Okay, so we have the spheres, and now we go to the focus areas. So the first one, participation, to guarantee that women and girls all over the world have the right to do sport and to reach high-level competitions such as the Olympic Games. Number two, leadership, to guarantee that women and girls can reach leadership positions. And I'm talking about, for example, management, and I'm talking about coaches, I'm talking about referees, any leadership position within sport. Safe sport, to guarantee that women and girls can practice sport in a safe environment. Portrayal, to guarantee that women and girls are well represented. First, to be represented at all, because most of the times they are not, and when they are well represented. And finally, resource allocation, to guarantee that there's financial resource for the implementation of the actions, okay? So with this framework, and let me give you a small example. So we go here for the example of Sara. So imagine that a football club in Puerto Rico wants to adapt this framework, okay? So a football club, it's not even a federation, it's not even an Olympic committee, a football club. So the football club, as an organization, what can they do to improve gender equality? And then, well, imagine that the football club organizes an event. So in their event, how they can implement gender equality, and then in the society where the club is included, how they can promote gender equality. So let's go now for even more practical. So this football club, they have a big issue. It's not a safe environment, and because of that, they don't have so many girls practicing sport. So they can focus on creating a safe environment in their tournaments, in the location that they are built, and this will increase participation later on, okay? So again, this framework is what we use in the IOC. We have 21 objectives, but it can be used by any sport organization. Okay. In 2021, the IOC has also participated in the UN Generation Equality Forum, where we made two commitments, okay? Commitment number one, to consolidate the Olympic Games as one of the most effective global platforms for promoting and accelerating gender equality. Commitment number two, to continue to lead by example and support the acceleration of women meaningful representation in leadership, governance, and decision-making bodies, okay? So everything that we do has as main objective to achieve these two commitments that we did during this UN forum, okay? Well, at the IOC, we have a specific team on this. So you can see here my director, Marie Salois, and this team is also including the team that was here yesterday with Dam, although Dam doesn't work with us in the IOC, he's an external consultant, but we also have the environmental unit in this department. So the department is a corporate sustainable development, okay? We have the director, Marie Salois, Charlotte Croupeau, she's my head of unit. I'm the responsible with the Olympic movement, so I'm your contact point, okay? If you need help, if you need support, come to me, okay? I'm here to help you in whatever you need. So many NOCs, we were not even aware that the IOC had a team for this. Yes, we do have, okay? And we are here to support you with whatever it's necessary. So contact us, okay, reach us. My colleague Primrose, she's working more specifically with the Olympic Games, and Victoria, she's an intern. So now you know the team. Well, but yeah, in the IOC, we need and we like to walk the talk. So these are the numbers that you can see from the last 11 years. So I'm really proud to be in an organization, the biggest sport organization in the world, that is fully gender balanced, okay? So if you look for the IOC executive board members, 27, we changed to 47. IOC members, from 21 to 43. IOC commission chairs, from 18 to 42. IOC commission positions, from 20 to 50. So, when you try to make the excuse that you cannot change in your organization, I'm sorry, you can. Because if the IOC changed, and this is a really big organization, really complex organization, where changes take a lot of time, take a lot of effort. If the IOC changed this much in 11 years, yes, you can change also your organizations. You just need to have the will to do it, okay? And here, some information regarding also the IOC as an organization. So senior managers, we went from 36% to 50%. Women directors, we went from 18% to 30%. Well, here the 30%, we still didn't reach much parity, but maybe, I don't know, with the next president this can change. And, well, today, regarding workforce, you have more women working in Lausanne than men. They are 57%. And the IOC is also considered the best sport organization for women to work. Well, but now let's focus on what happened in Paris, okay? So for that, I want to now to show you a short video.
Self-belief, respect, and ambition, they belong to us all when we chase our dreams. The Olympic Games are one of the most powerful platforms for empowering women. And this summer, women will again inspire the world on the Olympic stage. Paris 2024 will be the first Olympic Games with full gender equality on the field of play. The journey has been long. Over the years, trailblazers have led the way, while the Olympic movement has been working hard to give female athletes the opportunities they deserve. Creating the biggest gender-equal sporting event in history. Let's celebrate the moment, but not stop the journey.
I always get a little bit emotional since every time that I watch this movie. Imagine, on the first edition of the Olympic Games, do you know how many women participated? Come on. Zero. Zero. In the first edition, 0 women participated in the Olympic Games. On the second edition, for the first time, we had women participating. They were representing 2% of the overall athletes. So it took us a lot of time, maybe too much time, but finally we managed to reach 50% quota participation in the Olympic Games. So this is an achievement not for the IOC, but this is an achievement for the world. So congratulations to all of us who finally managed to reach this number. And some of you are looking to me like, come on, are you kidding me? So this is just a decision. So this is just the president saying, hey, from now on, it's going to be 50% and that's it. Well, I thought that also when I got there. But no, this is huge negotiations. You need to negotiate with international federations. You need to negotiate with the OCOGs. You need to negotiate with the National Olympic Committees. And you need to bring all these people together on board to achieve this. and sometimes it's not easy, but well, this part is achieved. Okay, but there's always a but. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect. There's still a long way to go, okay? So if we go to team management, and team management, we are talking about chef de mission and deputy chef de mission. We are only 23%, although we improved. If we talk about team leaders, 21%. If we talk about coaches, there was no change from Tokyo to Paris, only 13%. This is kind of ridiculous. I got embarrassed with this, you know. We have 50% of women participation and 30% of coaches. Medical officials, 31%. Welfare officers, 66%, and athletes chaperone, 53%. So if now we do a breakdown, so those were the global numbers, okay? The average of the world, the participation. If we now do a breakdown, and the Americas are the ones in blue, okay, are the ones in blue, well, we have Oceania leading, okay, Oceania is leading, but well, we also, okay. We also need to understand the context. So Oceania, it's only 17 countries, and some of them really, really, really small. So if we exclude Oceania from this, these graphics, the Americas are leading, okay? And I made a big effort to be here today also to acknowledge you of that. This is only possible thanks to all your work. So you have an amazing continental, Jedi Continental chair. She couldn't be here today, Alicia de Morea from Argentina. She's been doing an amazing job, amazing job, because back to Tokyo, the Americas, Africa and Europe, they were more or less the same. They were more or less the same. Now, it's not. It's not. The Americas are gone. So the Americas are leading, and then it's Africa, and then it's Europe, and then lastly, complicated continent Asia. So you can see here, okay, let's go for the average. Team management for the Americas, we have 35% of average, way above the 23% globally, okay? Team leaders, 26% for the Americas, way above the 21%. Coaches, 15% above the 13%. Medical officials, 4% above the, I don't know by heart, need to go be, yes, 30-something, and welfare officers and athletes chaperone, okay? So, yes, the Americas are doing better. Congratulations for that. But there's still space for improvement, okay? It wasn't me. There's still space for improvement. And again, don't count on the other ones to do the change. We need to do it together, okay? The IOC, together with the NOCs, together with the IFs, together with the national federations, together with the clubs. And that way, we reach the entire sport movement. In that way, we really manage to do the change. Okay, now we go for the Olympic movement, okay? We go to the executive boards. So today, 46% of the NOCs, which represents 85 NOCs, 46% of the NOCs are above the 30% minimum of women in the executive boards. Hopefully, we even have better numbers because this data is from 2023 and many NOCs had elections, okay? So hopefully, this number will even increase. So you can see here, this is the global number. So 46% of the NOCs in the world have reached the threshold of 30% of women in their executive board. From these ones, you can see here in the Americas that 23 NOCs in the Americas have reached this objective. 30% was a recommendation from the executive board in 2016, 8 years ago, a long time ago, okay? So NOCs had time to prepare themselves to reach this number, okay? In 2022, it stopped being a recommendation and it's stated in the good governance document, okay? So I know, and we will talk at the next slides about this, some of the NOCs here are still going to have elections. Have these numbers in your mind, okay? Gender equality, the change is going to happen. So what is going to make the difference is if you want to be on the front road of the change or if you want to be on the back, okay? The change is not going to stop, it's going to happen. Here we go in yellow, we have the world average of women in the executive boards. So the world average of women is 27. In the Americas, the average is 32. If we go to the General Assembly, the average in the world is 21. The average in the Americas is 23. So again, you can see that the Americas are doing better than the rest of the world, but you can also see there's still space for improvement. And, well, this is basically what I just mentioned before. This needs to be a joint effort, okay? From Lausanne, from my desk, it's very difficult to change the world. I need all the support. I came here not to change the world, I came here to recruit soldiers, okay? I came here to have you on my side. I came here, when you leave this room, you will advocate for gender equality also within your country, within your sport organizations, okay? So, again, there's elections coming. For some of them, it's already gone, but have this in mind. It's very important to have this threshold minimum of 30% of women representation in the executive board. And how can the IOC support you, okay? Well, we can offer 3 different levels of support. We have the financial support, we have the expertise, and the monitoring, okay? And I will go now explain a little bit deeper each one of them. So, for Olympic Solidarity, we have a specific program for projects for gender equality. So imagine, again, let's go for the project in Puerto Rico. So the NOC of Puerto Rico said, okay, now we have this strategic plan. We developed this strategic plan. We have these priorities, and now we want to implement, but we don't have the money, okay? So through Relay, you send a project to my colleagues in the Olympic Solidarity saying, hey, this is our plan, this is what we want to achieve, and this is the action that we want to develop. I don't think they ever reprove the project, okay? So the only difference is that you need to apply. If you don't apply, you will not receive the money, okay? The other day, my colleagues from Olympic Solidarity, they were making a presentation in the JEDI Commission, in the IOC, and some of the members, they were mad because most of the money was going to Africa and to Europe. They said, well, you know, this is not fair. Most of the money is going to Africa, to Europe, and the other continents, they also need financial support. And what my colleague said, yes, I agree with you. So please go back to your continents and tell them that they should apply. Because if they don't apply, we cannot give the money, okay? I know that Pan Am Sports, they also have specific continental programs for gender equality. So apply to them, okay? So the money is available, the money is there, the money is not a problem, but you need to apply. Develop the strategic plan, set your priorities. develop the action plans, and then there's money to support on this. But this program, it's one specifically focused on gender equality, but you can use all the Olympic solidarity programs to promote gender equality. So for example, Damaris, she wants now to do a coach program here in Panama. Well, it's very simple. She can say, okay, for this coach program, I want to have only women. I want to have a specific program for coaches, because you saw the numbers are embarrassing. I want to have a specific program only for women. So this is not a specific program for women, but she can use this program to empower women. Okay, so let's give another example. Memos program. Who here is a Memosium? How many Memosiums do we have here? Okay, I'm also a Memosium. Nice, nice. So for example, well, if one year you send a woman to the program, the next year you send a man, or vice versa. Don't send men all the time. The other day we have a WhatsApp group of the Portuguese Memosians, and I went to the list, and I'm like, wow, in 30 people, there were 26 men. 26 men. So, again, these programs are not specifically for gender equality, but have this in mind when you do things, okay? Women's Sport Leadership Academy. So this is a scholarship that the IOC provides for NOCs, okay? So this program is really amazing. It's in the UK. Who did participated here in the program? Oh, nice, nice, congratulations. Oh, I didn't know that. Congratulations, I hope you enjoy it. So the IOC gives 10 scholarships a year, okay? So again, NOCs, not everybody's gonna get a scholarship, so I guess that they will give like 3 scholarships per continent a year, okay? But again, you need to apply. If you don't apply, you lose the opportunity. It was not the case in the Americas, but for example, last year we didn't have any application from, no, 2 years ago from Africa. We had 0 applications, so nobody from Africa went, okay? So this application, I think it will be open more or less from February. So please be aware of these opportunities. Please choose the right person in your country and make the application, okay? And if Olympic Solidarity, if they receive a lot of applications, they will feel pressure. Now we can give 10 scholarships. But if they have 100 applications, I will go to their door and I'll say, hey, you know what? 100 applications, 10 scholarships, let's increase that number. Let's put it 20, 30. Your continental chair, Alicia, she's working really hard and making a lot of pressure to make this program at the continental level. So let's try, we are also working on this. Let's talk with Pan Am Sports to see if we can bring this program at a continental level also. Port Trail guidelines. Oof, this one gave a lot of work. So we are now on the 3rd edition of the Port Trail guidelines, okay? So I can tell you for sure, this is the most complete document that you will find in the world, specifically for sport, to allow women to be better represented, okay? So this document, with the support of many different NOCs, because we in the IOC translated to English, French, and Spanish, the official languages, but some other NOCs felt the need to translate the document. So the Brazilian NOC translated, Saudi Arabia also translated to Arabic, Italian NOC to Italian, Japanese, and Mandarin. So today we have a lot of languages available, the document. And this year, we have also developed the Port Trail seminars for NOCs. So this, all the NOCs, they received invitations to participate in these seminars, okay? So we had, actually, there's a Spanish one missing there, because it was we had an English version, we had a Spanish version, and we had a French version, okay? So this is available online for you to take advantage also of these tools. This is my baby, Good Practices Collection, okay? So every time that I travel, people come to me and they say, oh, Pedro, you know what? We would like to have good practices for other NOCs, what are they doing, and so on and so on. So I managed to convince my leadership to develop this document. The problem is that the document has only value if you provide me good practices, okay? So Alicia here in the Americas, she also disseminated through all the continents. I must say that from America, by far, it was the continent that we got more answers, okay? I think that we got 35 countries in the Americas participating on this. Europe, it was like 5. Asia, it was like 2, something like this. So, but again, there's still a last opportunity. So the first idea was to have this as a PDF document that we could share with you, but we are under negotiations with Olympic Solidarity to have an online platform where we can allocate all these good practices there, so we don't lose anything, okay? Because with the PDF, we are limited in the space. We cannot have all of them there, so we need to make choices. But once we have this platform, and I hope it will be ready next year, then we could have everything. So again, you have there the QR code. If you still have some good practice that you want to report and you didn't do it, please do. Monitoring. Yes, we are looking at what you are doing, okay? You saw the numbers for the Olympic Games, but through the NOC annual report, we are analyzing annually what is your NOC doing, if you are improving on this area or not, okay? We also develop what we call a snapshot, which is like basic information of your NOCs. So this is sent to the continental chairs, and then the continental chairs will send to the contact point in each Women in Sport Commission in the Americas. But if you would like to have a one-on-one meeting with me, just contact me. Just send me an email and say, Pedro, you know what? Let's talk about gender equality in our country. I want to see the numbers. I want you to explain me. I want your support in developing a program. So I'm here to support you. And also when I brought this, we developed during the Olympic Games in Paris, and this was based in a document that Paris 2024 developed, what we call a maturity assessment playbook, okay? So this is a document that will help organizations who are organizing sport events, and Centro Caribbean Sports, I know that you organize sport events. So this is a guideline to support you to organize the event having in consideration gender equality, okay? So any NOC here that organize sports event or regional events or any kind of events, this tool is very useful. So you can see here, Dakar is already using this tool for their Youth Olympic Games. The International Tennis Federation and the International Tennis Tables Federation are also doing experiences in their international tournaments using this tool. So this is something more that we are providing. And I'm almost finishing my presentation, the IOC Jedi Champion Awards. So the deadline for the applications is in 2 weeks, So I'm pretty sure, I'm convinced with all this work that we have seen here, that we can find a lot of Jedi champions in the Americas. But again, you need to apply, okay? So if you know somebody who has the profile, even if you think that you have the profile, apply, okay? So if somebody from Aruba says, oh my God, there's this guy in Aruba, he's working so much, and it doesn't matter if he works at the Olympic Committee or if he works with grassroots. One of the champions in 2021 from Africa, she was working with grassroots taekwondo. So it had nothing to do with the Olympic Games, but she was a champion. She did an amazing program for women regarding safe sport in her country. So again, we have 15 days. We still didn't receive many applications. So please, you have here the QR code, have this in mind. Take this information to your NOC or apply as soon as possible. Don't lose the opportunity. And, well, further support that we provide, we have the JEDI objectives, well, which are going to end right now. We have some ideas for action. We have the toolkit on safeguarding. We have the IOC framework. Everybody who is interested on the topic, we have a specific LinkedIn group called Working Towards Gender Equality in Sport. So if you like the topic, if you want to be involved in the topic, and if you have LinkedIn, otherwise you cannot enter, please join this group. It's an amazing group. I get empowered every day with ideas, with comments, with recommendations of the participants in this group. And we also have webinars that we have done in the past. So I have talked a lot, and I can talk a lot, believe me. But now I would like to have some kind of open discussion. So in your opinion, which have been the most significant areas of impact, positive or negative, when it comes to gender equality, diversity, and inclusion? Okay, so who wants to start? Okay. Can you help me here? And this is extremely important, these questions, because we need your support to develop our future strategy, okay? The strategy, it only makes sense if it's aligned with your necessities and your beliefs. So it's very important to have your feedback. So yes, let's start.
My name is Annette Knott, and I am the chair of the Women in Sport Commission for Centro Caribe Sport.
Perfect.
So I'm starting with a negative, because by the time you finish, you'll probably have lots of positives. The Paris Olympic Games, the 100 meters, the women's 100 meter, great event. We had a winner that we still celebrate, fantastic. But it was the 100 meter event. Everybody came out, they lined up, etc. Great. The next night, we arrive, and everybody's given whatever to wave lights, and there's all kind of drama, etc., for the men's 100 meters. I just could not believe it, that in the Olympics, where they're talking about gender, equality, parity, whatever, that you would have a major event like the 100 meters, and you downplayed the women's event, and the men's event got all this. So they tried to compensate the next day with the women's 200, and they gave out some more flashlights and thought that that would do it, but it didn't.
You're completely right, yes.
So the future, please, LA, if you're not going to do it for the women, don't do it for the men.
You're completely right. We immediately identified this. We also talked about this in our commission meeting last week, okay? Well, this was a lot of bad things happen at the same time. So who is responsible for this is the organizing committee, okay? So we were not aware of this situation, but after this, yes, we will pay more attention. So I can assure you that for Paris, to LA 2028, we will pay attention to these small details, because sometimes we just don't, I think this was already achieved, it's not going to happen. And I'm going to give you an example. Unfortunately, we still had, none of them was from the Americas, but we had six NOCs who didn't have a woman representative during the Olympic Games. And, well, some of them, I know them very well. And it was embarrassing, but we didn't pay enough attention. We thought that, okay, this is already won, so let's focus our attention in other things. But it was not. There are still NOCs not taking women to the Olympic Games. And yes, this was one of the situations. Thank you very much for your commenting. We identified this, and we are working on this. More. Who wants to? We have two more because the time is running. I see the clock there. Tick, tick, tick. Who wants to talk more? Positive or negative things? Sarah.
Bueno, buenos días y gracias, Pedro, porque de verdad que me he quedado aquí fascinada con tu presentación y la forma en que la has dado también. Área positiva, y es un área un poco controversial en muchos comités olímpicos, incluyendo, ¿verdad?, el de Puerto Rico, y es el tema de las cuotas. Si tenemos un 20%, ahora es un 30%, ¿verdad? Y en los cambios que hicimos en nuestra Constitución recientemente en el Comité Olímpico, siempre el tema de las cuotas es como un issue para muchos varones delegados en la Asamblea, que entienden, ¿verdad?, que las mujeres tienen que llegar por mérito y no por cuota. Y yo digo, pero si no le ponemos cuota, tampoco van a llegar porque no se van a sentir, ¿verdad?, parte del sistema. Y mientras he sido presidenta, ¿verdad?, y le digo, ustedes podrán pensar lo que quieran, pero mientras yo esté presidenta, siempre le voy a dar espacio y me he ocupado de buscar mujeres para que ocupen ese 30%. Pero esta permanencia de uno ahí no es por siempre, así que yo creo que el tema de las cuotas, como bien decías ahorita, tiene que ser algo impuesto, no puede ser una recomendación, porque una recomendación, bueno, pues se puede quedar en el aire, ¿verdad?, y demás. En ese mismo tema hemos tenido aquí experiencias en Centro, Caribe Sport, en la pasada elección, de que pocas mujeres se hicieron disponibles para las posiciones. Entonces, ¿cómo también podemos cumplir con ese porcentaje de cuota si muchas mujeres no se nominan para las posiciones? En la primera ronda de elección, bueno, en la elección hubo 2 espacios disponibles que se quedaron después y tuvimos que urgir, ¿verdad?, el que las mujeres se nominaran, y hoy día sí tenemos el % de cuota, pero debió haber sido algo natural, ¿verdad? Y aprovechando que tenemos un salón con una audiencia muy femenina, pues sí quiero enfatizar, ¿verdad?, de que hay que hacerse disponible, hay que dar ese paso al frente para uno poder también, ¿verdad?, tener ese espacio y aprovechar la oportunidad que las cuotas, aún con lo controversial que pueden ser, también nos ofrecen.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for your question, your comment. Well, let me tell you something. From my experience of gender equality, quota is definitely the best solution to achieve gender balance in leadership positions, okay? It's the best. Why? Why is that? Because, and this is studied, if men are in power, and if it's a group of men, it will be extremely difficult for women to get in. So it's through quotas, and they call it positive discrimination, it's through quotas that you have this opportunity. Quotas is not something that's supposed to be there forever. Quotas is just to help to change decades, centuries of discrimination in a faster way. But then we also hear from men, oh, but there's no women. They don't exist. So this is all the time that I listen to this. I'm sorry, they exist. I see a lot of women here. A lot of women here. The difference is, and I give you another example. When I was 14 years old, I dreamed to go to the Olympic Games. At the time, if somebody came to me and said, Pedro, you know what? You will never go to the Olympic Games because at a certain moment there will be an invisible door and you cannot cross that door. So you will never go to the Olympic Games. Well, do you think I would spend my 12 years of my life trying to go to reach a position that I would never reach? This is exactly the same thing with women. If we don't create opportunities, if we don't create the pathways for women to go from grassroots clubs to regional associations, to national federations, to the Olympic Committee, become president of the IOC. If we don't create these pathways, of course, at a certain moment, they will quit. And then it's easy to say, oh, but they don't exist. Yes, they do exist. Yes, they do exist. But they are like everybody else. They are not going to invest their times if there's no opportunities for them in the future. So the moment that we change the system, and this is very important, we don't need to change women. We need to change the system, okay? It's the system that needs to change. So the moment we need to change the moment we change the system, women will be all over. And quota is something that can support and definitely can, because it's like this. With elections, some NOCs, they manage to reach the 30%, But then if they don't have quotas, in the next elections, they forgot about this. Oh, we already fooled them once, now let's do whatever we want. So quota is very important. And I can give you an example. The Scandinavian countries, what they call the most developed countries in the world, all of them had quotas. They don't have it anymore because now they already reached the balance. The quota is not supposed to be there forever, but it needs to be there. So let's go to, I already saw that my time is over, but we started later, so I still have 5 minutes, okay? So second question, there was a question? Okay, let's go for the previous one still.
No, you had a comment.
Tell me.
Because we're dealing with social constructs, which means that the members of the society will ultimately impact the changes that take place. Institutions create the humbugs to those changes. And therefore, you end up with revolutions, whether they come from women or from anybody else. The critical issue I have is so far, what the challenge I have with what has been presented so far is that the first set of slides relate to the men-woman thing. So we're still dealing with binary while we're talking of gender, as opposed to the reality of the changing environment. But secondly, for us in the Americas, it's important to note where within the groupings that you put up for the Americas, where are they lagging behind in terms of opportunities for women? So we have a general sense of the Americas moving forward, but clearly the traditions and culture within certain sub-regions may well impact how we get, who really is lagging behind, who is advanced, and what are the critical factors that lead to that advancement. So at some point, I hope that we will talk, because gender equity is not going to lead to gender equality unless we address the definition of gender. And places like Canada have a multiplicity of definitions which are now impacting sport. And so the issues that we have been skirting around within the Olympic movement, leaving it to international federations to determine rather than confront square on, will continue to impact who participates in the Olympics going forward and at what level of engagement.
Thank you very much for your comment. Okay, we go. Yes, we just move, otherwise we don't have time, and then the organizers will kill me, okay? Okay, tell me your question. I cannot say no to a woman.
Good morning, Gloria Foy, British Virgin Islands. It's more of a plea, a comment to the women in here, because I find that the greatest obstacle to the progress of a woman is usually another woman. So I want us in here to, those of us who have already gotten in the door, to do some mentorship. You know, we don't want to create barriers for those others who are trying to get in. You want to try to help them to get in. And that is the way for us to grow, to progress. We have to help each other, not because we are already in there. Don't feel like for you to keep your position in there is to keep another woman out. And I find that is the hardest thing sometimes. So thank you.
Just to answer your question, the research also shows that it's so difficult for a woman to reach a leadership position that sometimes women, they tend to believe, okay, the other woman, she needs to pass everything that I passed to reach this position. And no, okay? And women, they're not supposed to be mentors. They are supposed to be sponsors, okay? Sponsors is who is talking about another person when you're not there and helping you to improve. Thank you very much for your comment. Okay, really fast. What are, and this side, it's very quiet. What are the topics and trends that the IOC should focus on the next 4 years? So I would like to hear from this side. Come on. Topics and trends. I give you an example. Artificial intelligence or women's health. Yes.
Hi, Sasha Sutherland, Barbados Olympic Association. Perhaps what President Joseph just commented on might be a topic and trend we could focus on for the next 4 years. The idea of gender is no longer binary, but a continuum, so gender diversity. We understand that we have not used the funding as much, but perhaps more access to funding specifically for research in our region, and more access to the resources, programmatic resources, so how we might implement some of the gender best practices in the region.
Okay, thank you very much. We have here another question.
Hi, Brendan Smith-King from Bermuda. She's still my comment about the binary. Identifying gender, and I would like to suggest and recommend listening to my colleagues is that we have events around women, but we don't provide the tools to help to develop leadership. So I would recommend for all of us, you know, the $5,000 or whatever money we get for those activities is to bring women leaders in to run programs to give young women the exposure. You know, back in the day, most of us went to physical education and we studied sport, and many of us, it's that the whole model has changed. And to give them the skills they need, you know, with recruiting women, and then that will give them the confidence. I have a lot to say on this topic, but I would recommend that because I've seen it work in my previous work in another country. Provide them with the research, the data, experts who have written, who've researched sports psychology, all the areas of leadership, and not just in leadership and administration, but media, sports medicine, and all the other areas of administration where we are lagging behind. I went to Paris Olympics, I went to visit the media center, and I saw 2 women.
Thank you very much. Do we have more over there? Can you raise your hand again so they can see? Oh, there's 2. Oh my God, this clock goes so fast.
Thank you very much. Congratulations for your presentation, Pedro. I am Sabrina from Loughborough University, UK. And I believe that one topic that the IOC should pay attention for the next years is the sustainable development of the Olympic movement. As you mentioned, you didn't receive any applications from Africa for a call a couple of years ago, and I believe that it says a lot about how unbalanced and how about unequal it is, the Olympic movement around the world. So I was impressed to see how many women we have here in America. We don't see that in Europe, as you said, so I'm really, really happy here. But I think that we also need to pay attention in the sustainability of the Olympic movement in the long term. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Last one, before we go to the last question.
Good day. I think that there should be more discussion on e-sport. My friend here was saying it, but did not, or you didn't see when her hand went up. A lot of e-sport is more of a sedentary sort of thing, and I'm thinking that a lot of the people who are getting involved in e-sport are no longer getting involved in physical sport. And I think that is dangerous, and that's just my opinion. But maybe they should be tying participation in e-sport with participation in some physical sport, not necessarily to compete to that extent, but you must show some involvement in physical sport in order to be involved in, compete in e-sport. But it's just the whole discussion around e-sport.
Okay, well, your question was focused on e-sport, which is not my area. Maybe another presentation, other people. But I can tell you for e-sport and regarding gender equality, there's a specific commission on gender equality for esports, and we are working to guarantee that we don't have to do this like in the Olympic Games, to start from zero from the beginning. So it's difficult negotiations. It's an environment that most of us are not fully aware how does it work, but we have a women commission in the e-games to guarantee that women rights, as in the Olympic Games, are being supported. Yes, last one.
Lloyd Black, British Virgin Islands. There's a lot of talk about sponsorship and mentorship. Well, we cannot get a ship moving with $5,000 every quadrennial. We have to be serious about this.
Yes, you're talking about the support. Olympic Solidarity, I don't know how much money they give you a year, but for gender equality, for sure, it's more than $5,000. So most of the projects, I heard of projects, although they don't have a specific number, they can support up to $25,000 a year. So I can give you an example. I have a friend of mine from North Macedonia. So she developed a strategic plan for 4 years. And she said, well, this is my plan for 4 years, and every year I want to do this, 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 and that. So she got $100,000. She got $25 every year for 4 years. It was $100,000 specifically for this program. And this is from the Olympic Solidarity. And then, like I said, I believe, I'm not sure, I believe that Pan Am Sport also have their program. So you have additional support. So the money is there, believe me, the money is there. We just need to use it. Damaris wants...
Thank you, Pedro. Just to clarify, because there are two different sources. One source is throughout Pan Am Sport, which is $5,000 grant per year per your activities as a commission, but also for Olympic Solidarity, and that doesn't technically have an actual limited budget. That depends on the project that you present, and then, of course, you guys review it, and then based on that, we'll move forward. And as was explained to us in ANOC meetings 2-3 weeks ago, what you guys are proposing is to make sure that we can actually develop a strategic plan for the 4 years. So we know that we have a guarantee to be able to implement that strategy throughout the 4 years. So yeah, the money is available, and then it's us that we have to do the proposal.
Yeah, exactly. And what is important is for you to have an idea, okay? So what we are trying to avoid is to have these random actions with no follow-up, with no impact, then we're just losing money, okay? So the idea is like, okay, what are the priorities for my country? The priorities are this, this, and that. How can I tackle the problem? I need to do this, this, and that. Okay, so to achieve this, I will do this in this first year, this in this second year, this in this third year. I want to reach these numbers, and then you create that's a strategic plan, and then you can ask for the support. Thank you very much for your question. When we go for the last question of all, well, I would like to know from the topics that I have here, what do you think that we should focus on regarding to gender equality? Okay, so now it's the 3 top priorities, okay? If there's no volunteer, I will choose some volunteer. What do you think it should be the priorities?
Thank you. Neville Stiles, Guatemala. I would say that probably from Guatemala's point of view, the first one, protection against violence and harassment, athletes' rights, and safety and security in terms of the safeguarding and so forth, which we've taken on particularly in a very, very major way. We've had big assemblies of presidents and secretary generals of the federations and so forth, and we're in the process of signing with each federation an agreement which will bind them to trying to support this and to implement it, yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. Who else wants to say what they think they're? Okay. Oh, there. Sorry, I couldn't see with the lights.
Gracias. Que levantaba la mano 4 veces y no me vio, por eso me tuve que levantar. Quería comentar, además de responder las preguntas, creo que el primer tema es un tema de mucha preocupación, por lo menos en mi Comité Olímpico, y así lo he mencionado en las instancias del Comité Olímpico Internacional, en Pan Am Sport. El tema del acoso y el abuso sexual sigue dándose muy fuerte en nuestros países, más de lo que quisiéramos aceptar, y por lo menos nosotros, desde mi Comité Olímpico, nos sentimos a veces con una camisa de fuerza para realmente poderle dar la defensa a nuestros atletas de esos abusos que se están dando, incluso contra menores de edad. Entonces yo creo que ese es un tema que se debe pasar no solamente de la teoría o la educación, sino también de cómo podemos darle esa protección a nuestros atletas que están siendo abusadas. El tema de la equidad de género también debe seguir siendo una prioridad. En el Comité Olímpico de Costa Rica actualmente tenemos dentro del estatuto el 50%, acabamos de por primera vez hacer la elección y ya tenemos el 50% de mujeres, y no solo por cuota, sino también escogimos a las mejores líderes de nuestras federaciones nacionales, que no necesariamente estaban como presidentes de sus federaciones, sino en otros puestos, y eso lo logramos. También hicimos y seguiremos trabajando gracias a las iniciativas y propuestas del COI. Acabamos de hacer también una capacitación grande de todo un año completo a 60 entrenadoras, solo mujeres, con el fin de promover la inclusión de las mujeres en las selecciones nacionales. Y también el tercer punto, me parece que es importante el tema de la noise. Bueno, en realidad los 3 primeros puntos que están ahí señalados son los que creo que se debe hacer mucho énfasis, sin descartar los otros.
Muchas gracias. I'm going to volunteering. I would like to hear from Colombia. What do you think their priorities should be, the main 3 priorities? And after Mexico. And then we are over.
Buenos días. Bueno, yo soy la coordinadora del programa de equidad de género en Colombia, y la verdad que hemos trabajado mucho para lograr que más mujeres podamos estar en todos los cargos, no solamente en el Comité Olímpico, sino en las federaciones deportivas nacionales, y que más entrenadoras quieran llegar a ser parte de estos equipos. Y tengo que decirles que en cuanto a resultados, han sido las mujeres las que han dado mejores resultados en el medallero final en los Juegos Olímpicos a través de los años. Entonces eso es un punto muy a favor. Respecto a las prioridades, yo pienso que el tema del deporte seguro es un tema que está como a nivel de todos los países. Necesitamos que mostrarles un deporte a nuestras atletas, y no solamente a las atletas. Yo pienso que es un tema que se ha convertido no solamente para las niñas y para los niños también, el tema del deporte seguro. Entonces tenemos que mostrarle que en el deporte van a estar bien y que podemos tener grandes logros con ellos. En Colombia estamos trabajando en un programa desde el Comité Olímpico Colombiano de un poco de detección de talentos, y desde la edad de los 9 años hasta los 12 le estamos mostrando a los niños y a las niñas que el deporte, primero, es importante, y segundo, que están seguros. Le estamos demostrando a sus padres, con el trabajo que estamos haciendo, que pueden llevar los niños, que no los pueden dejar por 4 o 5 días y que van a estar absolutamente protegidos de todo. Entonces me parece que lo más importante en este momento es este tema del deporte seguro para todos. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. I must say, yes, we will have Mexico talking, but let me just say that it's very funny, because I have done this work all over the world right now, and the priorities of the other continents, the other countries, are very similar as yours. Please.
Gracias. Sin duda, coincido con todas mis compañeras que han comentado antes que yo, pero creo que también en los derechos, en athletes' rights, pero también tienen que trabajar en que tienen también obligaciones, no solamente derechos, también tienen obligaciones. Creo que esa parte es importante también para los comités olímpicos nacionales y el COI. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Well, and this said, and this is the last slide, this is really the last slide. On 2026, IWG, International Working Group. So this is the biggest gender equality event in the world. I had the opportunity to participate in this event in New Zealand. So it's going to take place from 9 to 11 of July 2026. So this would be a great opportunity for your organizations. If you program yourselves to participate, you will have stakeholders from the entire world, from national Olympic committees, international federations, sponsors. This is the place that you should be. And now the biggest news is that IWG, every 4 years, I guess, they do their convention in a different place. So it was in Botswana 8 years ago. It was in New Zealand last time. Now it's going to be in the UK, and they are looking for a country to have it hosted in the Americas, okay? So by any chance, if you are interested in receiving this event, I have nothing to do with the organization with the event, but it's really, really a great event. Contact me, and I will put you in contact with IWG. So they are a non-for-profit organization. So basically, it's a networking organization, and the event is just incredible, okay? Well, this said, and I will finish with the motto, faster, higher, stronger, but always together. And now we are finishing our presentation as we start. So I would like to have all of you standing. We will do the judo bow, okay? It was a great fight. I'm already